Call the meeting to order. We'll take a roll call. Holly Allgauer, sir.
Karen Schulteis.
Cameron,
Okay, and we have the mayor and Jason are out by previous notification, so, but we have a quorum.
All
And
right. Next on the agenda, we have a approval of the December 9th, 2019. We had a special tourism district meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
All right, then, next we have grant allocation approval. We have to do them separately, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is for the Hilton at $31,175.
I move to approve.
aye.
Okay, and that's a roll call.
Holly Allgauer, sir, aye.
Karen Schulteis. Brett.
Cameron.
It passes.
Okay. Next is the Crown Plaza for $23,925. A motion?
Okay, I'll second. And, okay,
Holly
Karen.
Allgauer, sir.
Karen, aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
Now, did
I did send yesterday after.
Okay, you know what, she's not down here, we need,
Sure.
I know she's here, she's,
So you remember though, you have to get it, you're supposed to be getting it in 2 weeks before the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew, but I was, we are doing one of new hotel in this place. I was stuck over there. So I didn't know about the meeting too. She sent an email, but I did not receive it.
Did you get the second email that was sent?
No, I did
Well,
not.
then I need another place, because I sent.
So there was, can you send him the
Schedule.
minute, or it's not the minutes, I'm sorry, the schedule,
Yeah.
it's got the meeting dates
Yeah.
on there.
If I have it.
I think
Okay,
the next one is June
It's
5th.
on this thing.
I can tell you pretty much when they are. right
June
now.
5th, right?
Yep, so June 5th,
Right.
September 4th, and December 4th.
But this fiscal year, I have to submit all the paperwork before, 2 weeks before June 5th, right? Is that correct?
Yes, but Sherry's coming down here, because she's the one who wanted that put on the agenda,
Yeah.
so I want her to talk about, she wanted this put on the agenda, so. But in the meantime, would you like to, or you want to wait?
No, I can,
Sure,
yeah.
Okay.
For our update, we are doing a homework help program at the Indian Trails Library over in Milwaukee. On Mondays and Wednesdays, we do the same homework help, but at River Trails. Both start at 6 p.m. and we work with kids for homework. We have the Girls Club, which is on one Thursday out of the month or something like that. You can get that information online. And then as far as our department goes, we are overhauling everything that we use. We are switching to a whole new dispatch software, a whole new record software, an e-ticketing program, and an e-crash program. So it is a huge endeavor that we are going down that is taking up a lot of time. So, and usually agencies only have to do that once or twice in there, maybe once every 20 years or something. So that's it. That's all I have for PD.
All right. So we'll circle back.
Yes.
So we've gone ahead and approved the hotel. We've got Ramada on here as a TBD. Okay. They sent us something to you yesterday. Do you have that?
After she called, I told my office to email you.
And Sherry, I know you had wanted us to put the fiscal budget together, so maybe you could talk about it.
So wait, can we just go?
Okay.
Do you have the dates now? You have them right now?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
It's
So
June,
just-
June 5th and September and December, right?
Yeah, September 4th and December 4th. So can you flag your calendar though, so that you are getting it to Sherry at least a week? It's supposed to be 2 weeks.
Okay. It is September 10th, right?
September 4th.
For, and
So like
December,
in August, we can get documentation in.
okay.
So yours will not be on the warrant list for Monday because that's already been sent to council.
Yeah,
Your
but-
two are on.
But for example, our June 5th meeting, you had to have 2 weeks before all the paper, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And I'll check my office too, why they didn't, if you don't receive it.
Well, and now, wait, because this one would be the last one for the year.
Right.
So then what happens?
For-
So we have till the 30th
Okay.
to pay it. Because
Okay.
it's the end of the fiscal year.
But then we should approve it. We have to-
Well, what I'm saying though is that we have to have an approval
Yeah.
for his funds to go, or,
Right. And do we know the amount?
It was about 32,000 and some,
No.
for the entire
The
year.
amount isn't
No.
that much, 32 for the whole year. I can
Yeah.
go upstairs and get the, do you want to just approve the amount pending documentation?
Then I can-
being submitted?
yeah.
We
I
can
think
do
we
it
should, otherwise
yeah.
he's gonna lose it, right?
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
have to have
We
it.
have to approve it before.
But this is gonna, we've done these so many times now, like you have to make sure that you
Yeah,
get
I'll
it,
make sure
right?
next time.
I don't wanna be a jerk.
No, I-
Right, no,
We
you're
gotta
right,
get
because
it
we
done.
don't meet until
Yeah.
the next period.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So you have the amount, so do we know the amount that we can approve, or?
I can run upstairs and
Okay,
get the
yeah.
amount.
Sorry
So we
to
have
make you
the
run
exact-
upstairs.
That's okay. So we have the exact number.
Sure.
And then we say, we could do it pending.
Right, because I don't think, it's hard enough to get everybody together to try
Yes.
and do a special meeting
Right.
just to approve that. So do we wanna move on to,
Well, she's doing the fiscal year budget too, so.
right, so
it
should
would
we
be
move on to
Public
Public Works so that we can
Sure.
keep things
Absolutely.
moving?
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
So, we've had meetings in the past, and you guys haven't been maybe part of all the meetings, adding streetlights to Winkham. A little background on it, but we talked about it a year and a half ago before the road got repaved, and timing wasn't right, so we delayed it, now it's back on the burner. Tourism Board last time around approved that we go forward with the engineering. Then I took that to City Council. Not at our last meeting, the
Yeah.
one just before that, to get the City Council's approval to step into that. And so they've approved the tourism's request to spend the engineering money to go forward with figuring out the project. So our engineers have already been on top of it. I have a preliminary report from them based on 5 light poles. But they didn't send me a map, so exactly where they're gonna go, but it sounds like one's gonna be right near the first curve, and then 4 additional, approximately 150 feet apart. Based on the utilities that are already in place and things like that, they believe that a straight line approach to the street lighting is better than staggered from the north to the south side. So they'd all be on the north side, basically on your side of the property. 6 feet in from the curb roughly, because there's drainage in there. 30-foot tall poles with a 6-foot arm on it with the LED head. And then the initial designs, he sent me 30 pages of different ideas.
Oh, jeez.
But based down to is a 30-foot pole, aluminum spun, they call it spun pole, with bracketry on it, so we can put signs on it and things like that in the banners. So
Or baskets. I know you're not.
possibly baskets.
Possibly down the road.
So what we're gonna go through as our next step is, once that gets more redefined, the locations are staked out, so I know what they're speaking of, where they'd like to put it in, it'll get refined. What I'll do is because the tourism board as a whole has already approved going forward with the engineering of the project. The actual installation location is gonna be most crucial to your hotel and to the Crown Plaza across the street.
Right.
So what I'll do is I'll coordinate with both you and Jason as to kind of what's happening on the next step.
23,000?
By our next tourism board meeting, a shovel won't be in the ground yet, because there's steps to get
Sure.
done. So at that time, the rest of the council, we can present to them where things are at and how the process is going. But
So-
at least you'll get some pictures and ideas and
That'd be great.
some nuts and bolts of what we're doing.
Great.
Try to-
So I know in our last meeting, we talked about the possibility of also looking at Apple Drive.
Yes.
Is that part of this process or no?
It's not on what they sent me.
Okay.
But after meeting with the council the other night to get it approved, a couple of the aldermen were very interested in making sure that Apple Drive got addressed also. But it was funny, it was knocked down from the entire Apple Drive from Milwaukee Avenue all the way down to where the park is, which is what I originally thought was the concern, to now just being one light post.
By
on
the.
Apple, by the hotel. Yep.
Okay. Well, which
So basically, as you.
is more in line with the tourism district, I mean, because it doesn't really technically go that far back, correct?
It does.
Oh, it does,
Goes
okay.
way back, that's-
Okay.
The district itself
I'm
definitely.
not exactly
covers-
sure where that stops back there.
It goes
Yeah.
well
Well
past
back.
the park.
Okay,
But either way, talking with the aldermen, after they did a late night walk, they believe that one light near the entrance to the rear entrance to the hotel,
Yeah.
right around that curve area, would be enough to suffice a project at this time,
okay,
which is outstanding.
yeah,
Because it took us from those huge dollars to
Right.
just, maybe we talked originally of 7 on Winkleman and another dozen over here.
right,
Now it's down to one.
6
Six, yeah,
total,
six. So,
yeah, okay,
as things progress, but I want to let you know that the good thing is our engineers are into it, the lighting survey, some ideas. I know it's important for you.
so are
guys.
we thinking, I mean, obviously, with council's approval, are we thinking that this could be completed this year? Or we don't know yet?
Um, With council's approval, the
Yeah.
next fiscal budget year?
Yeah, I mean, within this calendar year is what I mean, like before December.
I'd say during the next fiscal year would be very realistic,
Okay.
if it was approved across the board.
Of course,
I gotta throw the if.
I understand.
But the project itself probably wouldn't, once ground was broken, it's a week's project.
Right,
You know,
right.
and then restore them, so
It's just moving that ball, is what I'm saying, like
Correct.
getting there.
it's getting to the point of, we have a project that, as a tourism council board believes in, and then city council agrees that the money that's earmarked for it should be spent on.
Okay,
That's the biggest obstacle,
okay,
so.
great. I have one question unrelated. And I'm almost positive I know the answer, but I'm just gonna ask anyways. On Winkleman, where the path is, where that gravel path is, where they cut away everything. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like I don't know if you wanna call it a running path or a walking trail, like where it's
Past you to the east?
past
Oh,
us,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure who does that, if that's
That's the
county.
county forest.
Okay, so they did some work, or someone did some work on Winkleman just in front of that.
Okay.
And it was kind of patched, but we're noticing that and I mentioned it to the mayor, and I don't know if it's something that the city can do or not, but what I'm concerned about is it's already starting to kind of become one of those things, like it's getting deeper and deeper, and I'm just wondering if it can be patched or filled.
Two parts of it. One, if I know what you're speaking to, there was a water main break there.
Right,
And the road was torn up to repair the water main break. So that would be the township next door.
okay.
That would be repairing that. So I'll take a drive by there.
Okay.
And I'll verify it.
It's nothing
And I'll reach out to
terrible
them.
just yet, but it's going in that direction, and so I was just trying to make it, maybe it's an easier fix before it gets really bad.
Absolutely.
So,
And if that's what it is in the roadway, they might be able to do something to improve it for the next short term. As for the road asphalt plants, they really probably won't be opening for another 4 or 5 weeks.
right.
So they can't do a permanent.
And that's
fix.
fine, I'm just looking for, because when you're driving, when you have 2 cars going, I mean, there's no way, you can't avoid hitting it. And it's definitely
Gotcha.
starting to lean towards the
I haven't
woods.
driven over it
Yeah.
lately because when I go into that neck of the woods, I always turn around in Jason's property at that last driveway, just because that's
Yeah.
right where we end. I kind
Right.
of pull in there and look around
Right.
and come back around by you. and
Okay.
So, but I will drive by there.
Okay, it's nothing major, I'm just putting it on the radar, because I think it will
Sure.
eventually get bad.
And I'll reach out to the township to make sure it's on the radar also.
It took 5 years to get that one at the end of the street done, so I thought if I mention it now, maybe we'll
Catch up.
get it.
I do have a question regarding the lights, and you may have just may have been addressed in the previous meeting. Did you guys discuss anything about street lighting on Milwaukee in front of the Crown Plaza? It's very dark up there.
We have not discussed anything on the state highway.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's a different,
Right.
Okay.
So, we're, the intersection of Winkleman and Milwaukee, we're talking about, there's currently one there already on the light post from the state, or on the comment pole. We'll be putting one just inside on the north side of the road to help that part of the intersection.
Okay.
But if you're referring to down by the entry to Crown,
Right.
nothing's been talked about with that. So,
That's something that would be related to tourism district
it,
to look into that, or, because it's a very, that, in front of that forest preserve, between like Milwaukee and a river down towards the forest preserve, that's all very dark. And I don't know if that's,
I know that when the Milwaukee Avenue resurfacing project reconstruction was done about 5 years ago, there was some light work done,
it's very minimal.
but it was,
Yeah.
I think it was done minimal on purpose for financial reasons or whatever particular led into it. It was about moving utilities at the time there, so.
okay. Well, my only concern is because, we've had, we've had a fatal accident there in the past, and we've had, we've had pedestrians hit by cars there because of that forest preserve, so even though it's supposed to be closed at night, it doesn't necessarily mean that people aren't going over there, so.
Are you more concerned with the forest preserve side? Or are you, I'm not exactly understanding.
He's
exactly
talking
what
about
you're
where the woods are,
Right,
for, on
there's the entrance
the west
to-
side.
So let's go to the front, that's, I'm basically talking about from the bridge down towards the animal hospital. Like that is all dark in that entire area.
Correct.
So that's what I'm talking about, if there's a way to
So the concern
consider
for
lighting.
street lighting for the whole east or north-south roadway, it's not just,
Just like we do it at the rest of Milwaukee Avenue, extending it onto this.
when we
this
first
side.
started talking, I was thinking you were just referring to the, over by Prizer and Crown Plaza, just that entrance
No,
there.
no,
And
this-
then we were talking about the Allison's Woods entrance, so you're talking about the whole stretch.
the whole stretch.
Is that something, I mean, I know it's probably a shot in the dark, but is that something that could be appealed to the state as far as like if it's an unsafe area and if you're saying that there's been deaths and other accidents there?
And
Does that have to be something that the village would do, or is that something that can
I
go?
don't think we've had enough, a number of them to be able to do that as far as, but I just know that, the last one we had, it was somebody who was hit by a car, so.
So the first steps of it, what the city will do is I'll talk to our engineers, and as long as we're working on a lighting thing like this, we can kind of have them evaluate what they feel the lighting is at, if it meets the standards that are required. If it meets the minimum standards that are required, then the state won't be interested in pursuing any additional lighting. If additional lighting is interested, it would be the city applying funding
To the state.
to the state and going through the whole process. So
Okay.
it's not, we'll start with planning. We'll
Okay.
take a look at it.
All right.
On the lighting, just for the meeting, there seemed to be a lot of confusion with the council when it was first mentioned by Mark, but when he winnowed everything down to what he's just presented, they seemed to be a lot more receptive to it. So, I mean, I think it started off pretty shaky how they were reacting, but it got a lot better because I think they do want something, they just thought it was going like all the way down Apple.
Oh,
and they're like,
gosh.
oh my God, what's happening?
I
So-
won't be a part of it. My belief at the beginning was it was going to be knocked down.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it went well, and we're to the next step. So
Okay,
there we
great.
go.
Yes.
Great, I appreciate that.
All right.
All right.
Beautification update. Are we good for the next step? Currently, right now, our proposal is out, an RFP to cover all the maintenance work that we do along the tourism area. The same, what you guys see now and what you're expecting is what we're hoping to get. The RFP was put out last Thursday, officially posted. I know there's been at least 2 or 3 companies that have shown significant interest and have downloaded the package of information to go off of. We have a site meeting set up for Monday morning for prospective bidders. And our engineer and myself will walk them through the steps in a couple locations of what we do and what we need, what we're expecting. And then the bids are due the following week. We're hoping to get an April 1st start. So we have a few weeks to get through it. The companies that I've heard that have put interest for it, I think they'll check out. So
So is Landscape Concepts?
Yes,
looking
they're one of
into
them.
One of them, okay. I noticed, and I was gonna call, and then I'm like, I figured it's just I don't know. But, the lights are still in the trees, and they seem to go on at periods of time.
They don't. They are possibly still on. They had told me that they're gonna be taking them down about a week and a half ago. What you'll see now is the first week of February, I had my crew go out there, unplug all the holiday lights, and reinstall all of our uplighting that we have through the summer.
Okay, they may have missed one.
Okay?
I don't, this was like 2 weeks ago, but there was one tree that was lit,
Okay.
just the one.
And that
And, you
shouldn't
know,
be-
there's weird things that happen, people,
Okay.
you know, who
Play
knows,
around.
but yeah.
But for us, it was, I didn't want to get into, I know we did that last year, where we went through a length of time where the lights were unplugged from the holiday, and then we didn't put up other lights for a while.
Right.
Basically after spring. And this year, I didn't want to miss a beat. I wanted to have them lit up like this.
Yeah.
Or lit up with the uplight.
Right, perfect.
So I'll find out about that.
Yeah.
But they did commit that those lights would have been off by now. We've had good weather, I'd expect them to be out there,
Yeah, for sure.
so,
It's definitely been much more mild than, you know,
yes.
last year, this
So-
time.
But yeah, I will check on the other lights.
Okay, perfect.
So with that, the RFP with the new company, or whichever company wins the bid, rephrase that.
Who's the other company, just out of curiosity, do you know?
I don't have it in front of me,
That's okay.
but there are 3,
Okay.
so that is one of them.
Mildew?
Okay.
But there are 3 that I heard of yesterday that have put interest.
Okay.
Landscape Concepts, these fellows, and another one, so.
Okay. Cool.
Pretty good. And again, Landscape Concepts has done a great job.
Right.
So, the other thing in the tourism area, if you noticed, Wednesday and Thursday afternoons, my crew was out there cleaning up debris. The winds that we had, the milder weather, the islands were all full of junk and plastic bags,
Mhm.
just everywhere. So the guys took bags and bags and bags of debris away from the center, all the way down. They went down to Ramada, they went all the way up to the bridge. And this morning I asked them how it all looks, and they said, well, it was probably good for about half an hour.
Right.
And then there's more debris, so.
That's terrible.
We're keeping on that, we've done that. This is the 3rd time this spring,
Yeah.
calling it spring, that we've been out there picking up debris. So if you guys see it, I see it, and it bugs me, so we're on it.
Perfect.
And the other thing, we do have a plan this year, affects more Holly and Jason's part of town. Over to the side of the guardrail with the trimming.
Uh-huh.
2 years ago, the state complied and did it for us. This last year, this is to make it pedestrian friendly on the other
Right.
side.
Right.
They said no way. There's no pedestrian crossing from the roadway to the other side of the guardrail. There's no way people can get to it without climbing over it, so they don't consider it a pedestrian access.
Can I
So-
take pictures of my employees walking in the middle of Waukee Avenue, and then maybe they'll consider?
So.
I'm being serious.
So pedestrian access down Milwaukee Avenue is a step that needs to be looked into
Right.
for the future. What we've done is, with the crew, we figured out a way to get our own machine on the other side of the wall. And probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're gonna do an initial spring trim and knock down about 4 or 5 feet of that.
That would be great.
From the river all the way up to the levee system.
That would be great, because Jason and I have talked about it, because we have a lot of people who live in like the Quincy Park and like back in Apple, like all over there that walk to work.
And
And I've picked up some of my staff walking down the middle of Milwaukee because there's nowhere else for them to go.
so, and from my end, it's something that, until we get a better system for pedestrians in that area, which may be a while.
Yeah, no, I understand.
We're gonna pick up keeping that trim back, because unless we, every year I'll try to get state to comply.
Yeah,
They have equipment that makes it go much faster.
oh, sure,
That-
and that's
like
unfortunate that they
push
see it like that.
So.
Okay. I mean, do you guys run into that where you have people, I mean, I'm sure that's how people are getting hurt too, walking down.
I mean, I've given rides to people sometimes when
Yeah.
I see them walking, but we haven't really had many issues. The only one is at nighttime with the accidents.
Yeah.
From the forest.
Sure. Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. Thank you.
Well,
All right, we'll
Okay.
bounce back to Sherry.
So the annual allocation for Ramada for fiscal year 20, which is 5/1 of 19 through 4/30 of 20, is 23,000.
And so, but he submitted some, no? Or you haven't submitted
No, this is
anything?
the annual
Okay.
one. And so he said he had.
I think we
received-
discussed a really small amount, so we're gonna do once a year instead of.
That's fine,
quarterly.
however you want to do it, that's up to you.
And so if your receipts total up to 32,000 in valid expenses, then the 23 is what would be paid.
Okay.
Okay. So,
So-
can we make a motion to, assuming that you receive?
As
Yes.
soon as I get the office, I'll make sure that she have everything today.
So motion to approve a 23,000 grant to Ramada
Pending.
pending
Approved documentation.
approved documentation.
But going forward, okay?
Every quarter, no, I'll make sure now.
All right,
So I'll move,
I'll second.
and that's a roll call.
I'll go with Sarah, aye.
Karen Schultz, aye.
And,
And that brings us to the fiscal year.
So probably this is what, similar to what last year's schedule was. See? So as always, historically, we take the revenue projection from the previous year, which is the 760 if you look down to the right. I went through our receipts currently and projected these to be the annual receipts for each of the hotels. So
Okay.
that 760 is the pot of money that we're looking at the top. Nothing really changed in the budget. The membership stays the same, pretty much audit and financial the same. Service charges went down by 25,000. What we did this year, Holly, because you had asked about it, and
Yeah.
historically, it was some intense calculation. I actually reached out to everyone in the city and asked what kind of time they spend, how many hours. So we broke it down almost to the exact specific work that's being done for the
Okay.
tourism district. And that's the number we came up with in terms of salary benefits for all of our folks.
Okay.
Public Works, et cetera. Not the police. The police is covered in that distribution.
Right.
The $10,000 capital reserve, again, that's up to you. I just put that in there because the lighting project is gonna use up the remaining 300,000, and so there'll be zero in for a capital reserve, so I just threw that amount in there. If you disagree with it.
So wait,
take it
if we
out.
do only 6 lights, that's gonna be like $300,000?
No, we spent on the 2 streets already, and we still have a leftover.
Oh,
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I was like, hold on a second.
No,
I'm like,
no.
Wow,
The
okay.
300, we already paid the streets.
You will have baskets.
You have golden lights.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I was like,
And-
holy cow.
And someone sitting there all day.
Lottery?
Yes.
Giving you fruit as you walk past.
Sign me up.
Okay,
So once it's about 100,000
Yeah.
is left over, and so then we at zero. So I just thought if we annually want to make some commitments for anything in the future,
Sure.
if you think the number should be higher or lower, again, that's your call. But at 10,000, that's what the disbursements amounts calculate out to.
okay. I'm good with that.
So, yeah, so that's it. Your next years are under this quarterly column for fiscal year 21.
Okay.
and that's what we'll include in the city's budget. We're going to be starting our budget presentations Monday, so
Okay.
these will be the numbers unless we make any changes to it.
What was the beautification budget last year? Do you recall offhand? If not, it's okay, I'm just curious. I can look when I get back.
93.5.
Okay, so it's just slightly lower.
Yep,
Okay,
pretty close.
all right.
So,
So do we do a motion to approve the budget?
I'll let you two guys approve in a second since it's.
I have one, you mentioned about the capital reserve, you said that it's 10,000 for the entire year, you gonna reserve?
and historically, we've never really had a capital reserve
Oh.
specific
Mhm.
until this most recent.
So she
project.
mentioned that we have 100,000 left over in capital reserve, or is, I don't get it, this part.
So there's money that wasn't spent,
Mhm.
and so it's just accrued.
Right.
So, we had looked at that, and it's been there for a while.
Oh, okay.
And so we were looking
I
at,
thought in the previously we reserve every year, so it's pile up the amount over there. It's not this is not the case, right?
not really, not in this regard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've never done this
We've never
before,
done
we've
this.
just taken our beautification
Okay, yeah.
budget, and then that was it.
Okay.
So, you know,
Okay, got it.
So next year, if you want to do another 10,000 and we don't spend it on a project, then you'll have 20,000.
Right.
30,000.
Okay.
However, if you want to make it higher or lower, but again, that's your decision at this level until,
Yeah, because I was not aware of the previous
Yeah.
budget format, so just wanna, I feel like 10,000 is not enough. I don't know what happened, but we never done the capital reserve before, like,
correct.
so, okay.
I don't have a problem with it, but if Jason has a concern, since he's not here, we can always amend it, right? If there's a question.
yes.
No motion, no?
Yeah, okay. I think he'll be fine with it, considering we've never done it before.
Right, okay.
Would you like to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'm not sure. Second.
Okay, and then there's a roll call.
All or sorry, aye.
Cameron Gallagher.
Karen Schulteis, aye. Thank you for putting it
Thank you.
together.
Oh,
Yeah.
no worries.
So nice having it in such a timely fashion.
I know, we're finally there.
Yes. So, all right. Well, I guess, do we have anything else we need to talk about?
Didn't,
No? All right, I will motion to adjourn then.
Now, second.